What's up, guys? Welcome back to Mevo Reacts to Professional Esports. We're here today with the Apex Legends Global Series Pro Split 2 playoffs with match number 3 and maybe 4 and on. We're here. We just watched map 1 and 2. TSM took almost 46 points in the first 2 maps to put them well ahead of basically the whole field going into matches 3 and 4 and possibly beyond. Remember, in this Apex Legends Global Series, they have to get to 50 match points and then get a win. A whole win will win them the whole tournament. So we still have quite a bit of Apex to be had. Let's check out match number 3.
Test for them that they kind of have to work with here.
Well, the Triton's going to be stolen. There's some Grand Theft Auto happening here at the start of
stole his
match
Triton.
number 3, but it looks like everybody survived that. Nobody has been knocked, nobody will go down. The question is, are they going to get enough loot to really have an impactful game here? Heading over to the armory is certainly going to be a good way to get a few guns and get leveled up for Gambare Otosan. Fire Beavers now, we're going to have a look at them over at Cenote Cave, but looking at where that zone is
we're
going
on
now,
World's
it's
Edge.
looking like a barometer.
No, sorry, Storm
Great
Point.
for Oxygen, and actually Oxygen are one of our best Storm Point teams in this lobby from this tournament alone. 3 victories so far across the last few days, and if they can set up, post up, and get into that final circle, wouldn't be surprised if we see them having the chance to win it again. I'll call it already just because Oxygen are one of those squads who know how to set up for this zone, and they've done it so many times already this tournament.
They certainly do indeed. They're going to be able to get a bit more info what's going to be happening
Oxygen
on the map
eSports in a good spot. Remember, we have NRG,
It's not going to give them
100
the
Thieves,
information they maybe
Optic
would have
Gaming,
wanted. If my eyes don't
Alliance,
see them,
probably, I think, are in 3rd place right now.
They have a ring console, and I think that's a good point
Oxygen
for you to
eSports are in
point
5th
out here,
place.
because they may start to move
Culver
away
X,
from
Moist
Barometer and
eSports,
start a natural
TSM, of
rotation.
course,
They
in
could
1st
also
place.
hold, wait and scan that survey beacon in
Let's see what
maybe
happens
about
here
30,
going into map
45
number 3.
seconds and see where teams are starting to arrive, and that will give them a better idea of where the circle's going to be pulled.
Looking elsewhere towards the north side of the map, Blackhand are making their rotation through Stormcatcher. You can see them just approaching zone phase. They are going to have a ring console, so they're going to know where they have to play from. Opportunity to hit a ring console for Alliance as they head down south as well. TSM,
Someone's
they
fighting.
have a survey beacon to hit on their way down south as well, so they'll get a little bit of info by leaving a bit later on where teams are starting to stack up. But maybe the zone info they would have wanted, but this is what we're expecting to see in our end zone down.
Yeah, Barometer is the POI where it's closest to be where we're going to be finishing. We're going to see a lot of teams on that high tower just setting up. First team to get there is going to be in one of the prime positions to pick up a lot of kills from the teams arriving from the southwest, perhaps. But Riddle Order, they're still having a little bit of a scrap. They know there's a team inside. Maybe this is a cheeky ambush.
Trying to pull off but a ruse. If they can take
Optic
them down
and Dark
being
Zero.
shown themselves. The armory is such a risky
Possibly
thing.
about
Sometimes
to
you've got a team
fight.
perched on top. We saw it yesterday how it can really fall apart for either team, to be honest with you. Jim Burton,
Oh! Knocked.
knocked by name, knocked by nature.
That charge rifle hit so hard, the bass in the arena thudded through my chest, and now Dark Zero are trying to push up on it, but again, sensible decision. They felt like it was too far to go up to try and push this one, so they're backing off slightly.
Shots being exchanged. You wonder if Dark Zero do fancy this. Knocked back to his feet. Like you said, just managed to get inside of that building, which makes the push so much more difficult. Charge rifle still in the hands, though, of Jem Burton. We know that he likes to hit the shots of all shots, and he'll be lining up another one here. Elsewhere on the map, TSM have just gone through Cascade
Someone else
Falls.
coming behind
LG
them.
still over doing the armory outside of Fish Farms between Gale Station. And it looks like a lot of teams who are coming here we go on the southern side of things are looking to gather some information before they do head in. Now, back, like you say, to Riddle Order on top of the armory. Inside is going to be Gambare Otosan. They've got to be careful here. They're going to send it, Riddle Order. They're going to send it here. They get the first knock. Shots being exchanged, though. It's a jungle gym in here, and Yukio's now left. Oh, he's left us last alive. Goes up to the top rope. Drops the elbow, but can he get the pinfall?
He's going for a Newcastle res here, tries to get up top. The res comes
Oh,
through.
the Newcastle
Is he going to be able to
res.
get the damage though and maybe finish this fight? The Newcastle holds strong. And Yukio cannot get over the wall. And Gambari Artisan will hold on and hold off Rid Lawler, who had been planning that push for quite some time.
The kick out comes through just as you thought the 3 count was about to come down. Firebeam is eliminated. In the meantime,
killing
TSM fighting
Ascend.
against Ascend 2. And you can see here that Ascend decided this is not the rotate that we want. Lufka's got to be so careful.
Ooh.
I'm pretty sure that that was the team up on height in Barometer. Fizzing away at his health. Phoenix kill will be popped, but post-kill, you're going to have to be left behind. And I tell you what, Kashira might be joining him soon.
So TSM were able to pick up 1 kill, which puts them 1 point closer to match point. They're now 3 away.
Oh!
Moist managed to get the knock. It is going to be Lufka now going down as Ascend cannot catch a break at the moment on their rotation with 0 points. Just can't get into Barometer. And it's going to be a rat situation just to try and pick up some placement points. But once again on set, that means they are going to fall further and further behind the leaders here. And we may well just have 1 team on match point going into this as Ascend do get eliminated.
eSports.
It's Moist eSports.
Eliminate Ascend.
Onto Kashira, Waltzy.
And now probably about to fight Optic
Triple take in
Gaming.
his hands, doing enough and having enough range to convert that.
Or
The
was
only
that
team at the moment
TSM
who
over
isn't
there?
inside of
Someone
zone
was
is
over there.
Alliance. They are going through Stormcatcher to hit that ring console, so they're going to know where to go. The question is, are they going to find somewhere to play?
So one thing I'm intrigued as to whether it will happen or not, TSM are 3 points away from match point, right? That means 1 team fight will put them onto match point. They're not in one of the best positions for Barometer. If they catch wind of any team that's slightly weak or maybe is failing their rotation, is taking some damage, I wouldn't be surprised if TSM were to get aggressive and just try and surpass that match point situation so then they can get into the next game and try and win this championship. But at the same time, where currently TSM are, there's not many teams around them for them to push because everyone has found themselves in Barometer nice and early.
What they can do is look for a third-party opportunity, though, if one does arise. So TSM kind of playing, you would say, a safer game at the moment. Alliance, we just saw them on their way in there, just double-crafting on their way in to make sure that they've got the meds and possibly leveling up the Evo shields without having to be involved in combat themselves. Blackhand and LG Shivas are kind of hovering around Antennae, but not too much as far as shots being exchanged between the two. Moist just trying to level up those Evo shields, excuse me, at the moment. The longbow shots are going to be a very good tool.
So this was the position I was talking about as well from TSM. Just holding that northern side at the moment. The circle's probably going to pull away from them, but they're just hovering. They're waiting, holding that choke, hoping that they can third party, hoping they can get another team. Alliance going to be arriving very late, but they love their drop over at Lightning Rod. It's done them very well at this tournament so far, but of course they have to move a long way before they're going to get to this circle.
Alliance way out. Ganambre way out.
You can see that they're about to approach zone, and there's going to be so many teams looking out at them. Moist eSports, though, set up in such a strong position for this endgame. 17 squads still remaining with 1 minute and 48 seconds left on zone number 2.
No wins on Storm Point for Moist this tournament, though, so it's not been as kind to them as World's Edge, but as long as you can get some kills on the board and try and get closer to that match point, it will mean that you then cross over to World's Edge by the time you're on it, if you are still getting a good total. Pulverix with full whites and just holding nice and early here. Now this is a Pulverix special. This is something they've been doing all tournament. They set up, they hide away, they get into a position. Sometimes they play like they're rats, but as a full 3. But then they just explode. They might catch a team off guard, steal all the loot. They also, of course, have the ability to get the black market down with Loba and just grab some of those shields away from other teams.
Grab the shields.
Everybody is safe. Everybody is not wanting to show at this point. The story is, of course, TSM just need 3 points, and they're on match
here.
Alliance and Dark Zero, their closest competitors. Dark Zero on 38 as it stands. Alliance 27, just behind them after their win. FC Destroy.
Now, a team who could rock the boat a little bit is Gambari Artisan. They're going to be arriving from this western side, and Optic, Exit, Dark Zero all kind of hold this area. The same could be said for Alliance, because they're going to be moving from the west, trying to make their way in, and actually now they're coming from the northern side. They've actually gone round and wrapped TSM. I don't know if they knew they were there or not, but they've managed to avoid them and avoid that fight. But it's the teams that are arriving late from Edge that are really going to disrupt the current setups and maybe just trying to steal them away from other teams.
Yeah, Alliance just taking a second to hit the survey beacon, so they're going to know where everybody is. And with 17 squads remaining, information at this stage of the game so vital to see what buildings are free, what positions they could play for, what third parties they could potentially expect to see as well, as we get a look at where that zone is going. Pulverex are bang center, but Xset are in a great spot too.
Yeah, Pulverex bang center, but very exposed to potential for grenades and for
What did he
teams
say?
just
Bang
panicking,
what?
arriving with a trident or arriving as they run through the water and just trying to use the bridge as cover, and then Pulverex might just be damage control. They might just end up taking fire because of
TSM
that.
and Alliance.
But they need to have a big
This could
presence.
be a big
now,
fight.
Alliance used that survey beacon, and they would have seen that a team was there. They of course won't know it's TSM, but they did start to move their way over.
One thing Alliance love, it's an isolated fight. If they feel it's a straight 3v3, then more than inclined to try and take it. But with the shots coming out from Barometer, it just becomes a little bit more risky, because one shot in your back completely changes how that fight is going to end up.
And I don't really blame them. I mean, with the way Alliance have been playing in those isolated fights, they've been unbelievable. Effect, of course, a big part of that, but every single member is playing their part at the same time. But they didn't want to take it. They knew full well that there was potential for third parties or at least extra damage, and instead Alliance will start to think about maybe moving into this zone instead. As for Fnatic, they currently hold a sensible position over towards Jurassic, and I think eventually they are going to have to move, and they might end up near the likes of TSM. And this is what TSM want. TSM want a team to come through that middle choke, but having a Crypto on board for Fnatic means they should avoid any sort of ambush.
Should avoid the ambush. Also, could open the door here for Alliance. If Alliance hear this fight take place, then they might come and think about thirding it. The zone is going to be pulling even further south here, and Oxygen eSports, who land over at Barometer, they know the zone better than anyone. They are set up for success here.
Yeah, Oxygen have done so well at getting into one of the best positions. Blackhand still in the zone, as well as Gambare Artisan, who are just trying to avoid the fights at the moment. It's the perfect strategy on paper, just avoid as much teams until they start to go down, and then maybe take some of those positions as the game goes on. But with 17 squads still remain, no one really wants to kind of step foot out at the moment. No one wants to take that fight, because as soon as that engagement starts, it encourages that third party. There you can see the circle moving down towards the southwest, close to Oxygen, and Dark Zero also positioned quite well alongside Optic Gaming.
Interesting to see that the teams who are furthest away from zone at the moment, Geo, you can see is still in zone. FaZe, I've got to travel quite some way as well, but it's TSM and Alliance, you would say, have got to probably do the most walking here, Dan. They're the ones who have got to find a way to get towards zone, and they're the two teams who are inside our top three.
Yeah, TSM have still been waiting, still been hoping someone would arrive, but it looks like Fnatic are going to move around TSM the same direction that Alliance took. It could mean we'll have an Alliance versus Fnatic fight shortly, but at the moment, FaZe, they're thinking about how they're going to plan to enter the middle of Barometer at the moment, because they're on the southeast side. The circle is going to force them in next to the teams like Blackhand, Pioneers, 100 Thieves, and NRG. It is going to be a tough old road to get past all those squads.
And now we're going to see the battle of Edge. We're seeing Fnatic versus Alliance, and it's a perfect time to jump into a listening. Let's see what Fnatic do in this fight.
俺の背中でいやそこで張り付きでもいいよ俺の場所強いよオッケーオッケー相手屋上立ってない相手屋上立ってない飛び出してるね今ちょっと俺しゃがんでるセットしてるでしょリブートセットしに行く俺左の窓今俺木ないよ俺オッケー今木ないオッケーオッケーさっき終わったよ屋根上いるの屋根いる一人丸けないでそいつに11秒ね入ったら上行くわこれどっちにも木立ってないこれいや木ないよ一番上取って海田一番上いない相手のライト注意俺も上行くわ一緒に左奥肩割ってるこれ行こうお前で俺ら次 B コーンでバレるとしたらオッケーだからケツ側に集まってオッケーオッケーこの中の方が安全かも海田この中でいや俺のそばに来てオッケーオッケーもう構えるよ
Well, the listening presented by WD Black, and now you can see that Alliance have been forced to make their move towards zone. TSM were having a look at that. They were thinking about it, Dan, but don't get the opportunity to strike.
Gambare Artisan eliminated. TSM really wanted to third that. They want these 3 points to get onto match point.
The winner last game.
Will take their chance to fly over the top of everyone.
Early, 16th
but what this has allowed TSM to do is just walk on into the circle, because Alliance were forced to do so,
who we just went and listening
just
with,
kind of shadow
getting
it
shot.
at the moment.
Oh, what a play from Fnatic, by the way. How is this egg completely and utterly free? Fights starting to break out everywhere at the moment, as everyone knows they're going to have to leave, and teams try and force their way into zone. Pioneers on our screen right now. Are they able to hold strong?
Pioneers holding, but TSM are also fighting Alliance at the same time. There are so many big fights happening on the map at Storm Point as all these teams are being forced together. Alliance are trying to hold off TSM, who keep thinking about it, keep trying to push up, keep trying to get those extra points.
Such an awkward angle to fight this fight on the bridge, though. TSM pushed up onto Alliance. Neither team has taken damage as yet. Elsewhere, you can see in the kill feed, FaZe, they're taking damage. Moist eSports have been eliminated in the meantime, but elsewhere, it looks like there's a standoff between Alliance and TSM for now.
Alliance have done so well to hold off that push from TSM. They were so close, as now Hackers has taken a lot of damage here. There's other teams that can get involved. It's Reps gets the opener onto Hackis, and this could be the points for TSM to find themselves on match point. They're now on 49, one away.
TSM get the opening damage. Now they're going to look to convert. Alliance Scarpa away.
Surely they chase this.
It was looking like Effect was just waiting a few moments there for his black hole to come back on horizon. Then he might be able to use that to turn the fight around. In the meantime, Blackhand eliminated. 13 squads now remaining, and here comes a little zone wrap from TSM. They're trying to catch him off guard.
And they just want these kills. They know it's all they need. They need to be careful. It is a 3 versus 2, but you've got to work together.
How goes in? How goes down? But now it's all up to Reps and Verholst. Only one player left from Alliance behind the knockdown shield. Surely they clean this one up. Surely they get it done. Alliance eliminated. But here comes the third party.
Fnatic
on
will
match
clean up
point
TSM, but
after
TSM
this match.
have done enough. They are on match point, and they will have the chance to win here on Sunday in the next match.
100 Thieves pushed their way forward, but unfortunately found themselves eliminated as well. Nathan from NRG will fall on board with LG now. LG Shibas trying to control, trying to force their way towards zone as 10 squads find themselves standing in these final moments.
Getting hurt.
I think by the looks of how everyone was set up in and around Barometer down, Pulverex down in the meantime.
Pulverex eliminated.
It was a surprise how that zone pulled, because now everyone is desperately trying to force their way in.
Well, the one team who wasn't surprised by it, the team that
Pioneer's
dropped a Barometer,
probably about to be
Oxygen, they were
eliminated.
well aware. And the other team that's in the perfect position right now is Dark Zero. Dark Zero, who are 8 points away from match point. It might not only be TSM who are there for the next game.
Dark Zero probably could also get to match point.
They have an opportunity. They need 8 points, like you say, to close out and hit match point. Well, Zainu with a 30-30 might be able to add 1. They're going to send on this, and why wouldn't you?
Yeah, you can isolate this fight with the Dark Veil. It's Optic Gaming on the receiving end, and they get eliminated.
Optic eliminated.
As Dark Zero now find themselves
in
5
8th place
away
there.
from match point. And not only that, they now own
Dark
the
Zero only
entirety
5
of the
points.
western side of this circle. They can hold off, they can play patient, and they should get an easy route into the top 3.
I mean, it's a fantastic view to show how much control Dark Zero have right now.
Yeah.
Everybody else has to walk through each other to get to zone, and then they have to go through Oxygen. Who's up on the high ground? Who's on their own? It's going to be Dark Zero. Pioneers fall in the meantime. We're down to 5.
It should be a Dark
NRG
Zero or an
only was 2
Oxygen win
members.
with the positions that both of these
5
teams
squads
currently
left.
hold. NRG are down to a 2, so this is going to be a struggle, but they want to just get as much placement points as possible. The other squads, of course, LG Chivas and Exet that you can see on your screen, they've got to arrive from the northern
Oxygen
side.
on the left
it's going to be
of
the most
NRG.
difficult situation for those 2 squads, because not only have they got to fight each other, but then they're going to get griefed by Oxygen and NRG, and then eventually Dark Zero.
Rolling Thunder coming down. You can see that on the right-hand side of your
NRG
screen.
and Oxygen
LG trying
might
to force
be-
their way forward. Exet just trapped
Might be engaging
inside of
soon.
that bunker and trying to take this fight right now. Surprising. LG zone starts to close very, very soon, though. LG know what they're going to do. Just hold. Make sure that Exet cannot escape. And don't take too much damage while you do it. However, they've had to expend now the exhibit from Seer. The Dark Veil goes down from Exet. They're trying to escape.
Yeah, all these ults are being used to escape, which means if they even get into the final circle, it's going to be so difficult for them to win. But at the moment, it's about surviving. It's about moving on and trying to avoid this fight as best as you can. But then when you force it, when you are able to isolate it, then you have to dive on it, because otherwise you're just going to get thirded too easily.
I think that's the
Digi's gonna be
NRG
important
members
here
right
for
there.
fun. Nocturnal
Exet
Sentinel
are about
smokes.
to
LG
engage
are
on
forced
too.
out their little hidey hole, up into the thinner air above them. The Q is going to be good, and it gets them safe. And
Exet,
now they get
one
the
gets
opening up,
knocked.
but send in Sykes.
Yeah, by
Healing
NRG.
change things.
LG
Another
eliminated.
black hole comes in. But while all this fighting's going down, Dan, you've got to think Dark Zero. They're able to just hold on to
Gilderson
their
on
ultimates
his
for this
own.
endgame.
Dark Zero just sit pretty, they wait, they're patient. Exet eliminated.
He gets
And
him.
Dark Zero now finds
Exet.
themselves 1 point. No!
And
Dark
then
Zero have
Guild
done it.
finally gets
They will be on
eliminated.
match
2
point, but
squads
what a
left.
big fight this
Oxygen
is to try and win
and
this game.
Dark
As
Zero,
Oxygen needs
who
to
Dark
win
Zero
15
could get on the match
It's a
point
straight
here.
3v3. Vayne is desperately trying to pop that ult XL,
I think they
but
probably already got it,
99%
honestly.
turns to 100. He is going to be able to throw that Rolling Thunder down. Oxygen do have zone here. Dark Zero will have to move, but the damage from Dark Zero might be enough for them to have to make the move without too much risk here.
Also, if Dark Zero have been doing their math, they know they're on match point. They can play this one a little bit more fearless, but a win going into the next map would do wonders for their confidence. At the moment, it's ring around the rosies from these Dark Veils. Where are you going to go? Is it going to be left or right?
It's height versus zone at the moment. Dark Zero do not want to give up this height without giving out some damage before they do so. But as soon as these Dark Veils expire,
It's going to be a good 3v3 here.
that's going to be the signal maybe
Dark
to
Zero,
push.
Oxygen eSports,
The
here
black hole
goes.
goes down. Zainu's going to swing. They're going to go left. They're going to look to tough them up. They're
That's
gonna
2
look to
down
put
for
them
Dark
to
Zero.
bed. Zainu moves in. It's a 2v1.
It's a 2v1, and it should just be easy from here, but the knockdown shield makes things a lot more difficult.
Zainu goes up onto height. Vayne left on his own,
Can
trying to
Vayne
do what
get
he
a
can.
clutch
It
here?
will be a mesmerizing play if he can pull this off, but Jen's had time now to pop that battery. Send in Zainu. Send in Jim Burden.
Dark Zero.
Send the victory screen towards Dark Zero, and Jen's up on the desk.
Jen Burton showing
Match point
them
achieved.
what's up.
For Dark Zero alongside a champion banner.
Dark Zero could be go also alongside a TSM are going into match number 4 on match point, which means if Dark Zero or TSM win the next match, this playoff is over. It's done for. They're already on match point, but 18 other squads are going to be gunning for these 2 squads, trying to get them out of the tournament to try to keep their own tournament hopes alive going in to match number 5. So remember, they've got a little bit of a price on their head now going into match number 4.
Dark Zero swing out as a 2. Zero goes widest, does damage. And then it's left up to the Roller Boys to convert it into a win.
And it is so much nicer if they had that knowledge of the fact they were on match point already. They can be a little bit more loose, a little bit more free with their push. As for Oxygen eSports, still an incredible performance. They're now on 30 points, so they are 3rd place at the moment, 20 off of match point. And it was a circle they had to get some points from. It was pulling towards them. It came to Barometer. They predicted the pull away, and they were rewarded for it. But for Dark Zero, they committed to that western side of the zone so long ago.
Yeah, that was a good play by them all around. Good patience. They let all those teams take out themselves. NRG, LG, XSET all ended up taking themselves out until all that was left was Dark Zero. Good plays though. Good game. Let's check out that final circle. I saw it there for a second.
She gets that going. No worries, Sap. We'll get that fixed up for you. Glitter, Tiff, Dia, I'm going to go with you in a line. Tiff, maybe you kick this off. Talk us through this final circle.
Look, it was so impressive, and I love the utilization of the Dark Veils to try and buy just Oxygen eSports a little bit more time to heal back fully before they had to approach Dark Zero on the high ground. But Zainu with the 30-30 was able to really apply so much pressure in an anchored position, but when he had to act on it, he did well.
We've seen a similar circle to this before, even when TSM was able to walk away with the win in the group stages, and controlling high ground as Dark Zero did is really important. However, importantly, it's also not the first time that we've seen Oxygen play things out from the low ground. They've done this every time that the zone goes over to Cenote, and it's an incredibly powerful spot for Oxygen to be able to grab early on because the rotation from Barometer is so simple, and the position that they hold on the low ground, if I'm honest, is not a winning one. Tiff, the fact that Oxygen played from this low ground suggests to me that their journey was more about picking up as many points as possible than it was about getting first.
And that's completely right? We have 2 teams now within that game that have put themselves over that 50-point match threshold, and Oxygen is still 20 points away from being able to do so, so they needed to make sure that they could get as many eliminations, because they are rotating in from Barometer, which had 3 zones originally throughout all the gameplay that we've seen before, but this one was different, pulling just outside.
And Dark Zero had a wonderful game, quite a bit of damage, especially on Jen Burton, who was lauded as being a critical member of this squad. Wasn't able to play the first LAN with the team back when they won over at Champs, however, has clearly been, I mean, an integral.
All right. Good game by Dark Zero. Let's see, 9 kills, over almost 5k damage between the 3 of them. Putting Dark Zero on the match point with a 21-point game. Oxygen eSports second place, NRG get third with only 2 players actually ratting into that top 3 position to get them 12 total points. Xset, LG, Pioneers, FaZe, Optic Gaming in the top 10, but Optic still would have a long way to go to get anywhere close to match point, as 100 Thieves TSM was all the way down in 12th place. As we can see here, Dark Zero and TSM both on match point. Oxygen over half, Alliance over half, but both Alliance didn't have a very good game last game. Like I said, Optic Gaming with only 10 points, a long way to go. Still could be a lot of Apex to be played because these 2 teams, one of them would have to win the complete next game for this to be over. But very high possibility, as they've already, both of them have already won one so far in the 3 games played. Let's check out a little bit of the broadcast.
Teams that are standing out to you. It's kind of hard to pick any of those 2, but we mentioned APAC South to start this off. We also mentioned that there could be APAC North team that actually gets this win. Are you seeing anything promising from our APAC squads yet, or is it too early to tell?
You know, remember yesterday?
Yeah, hell no, we're not waiting.
Game. There was a late contest in it last time, Vicky. Right, we saw over.
I thought it was just a short break, but that's like, it was like a 15-minute break. So we're gonna get right into match number 4.
Let's see if those teams play this out a little bit differently this time. We've got a south to north drop ship. Always wondering about that. Is it close enough to lightning rod? Do they have to worry about the gravity cannons? Is one of the biggest points, honestly, when you're thinking about the drop ship halving over here on Storm Point.
Crowd getting excited now. Following through for our fourth game here. Second game on Storm Point. We've already seen wins from TSM, FC Destroy, and Dark Zero. Can they do it again? Taking a look at what we may see from early game action after what we already saw in the Armory last game. So chaotic to see how that was put down between Geo, perhaps Riddle Order here.
Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us today as we watch the Apex Legends Global Series Split 2 playoffs, though. If you guys do like pro esports, we do try here on the channel to bring you guys lots of different stuff. Halo, Call of Duty League, Apex Legends. If you guys like any of that, make sure you guys like and subscribe, please, as we are trying to get to YouTube partnership. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. Let's get into match number 4.
And being able to try it. Huge year for the future rotation that we're going to be able to see from that team, Riddle Order, again, splitting up that loot. Also nice to know that Mill has a lot of information between the survey beacon and the ring console for Dark Zero to benefit from. And we are moving down south out here towards Shipball, so KCP having the circle advantage in their POI.
It's definitely going to be a shipfall zone. It has swung as southerly as it possibly can here. We might even get one of those fun ones, but I call it fun. The players have a few words to say about that, but where it ends, like well out near the destroyed ship in the water. Tridents become very important at this
Pioneers
point.
down there. 100 Thieves not far, LG not far. Oxygen already in the second circle. Fire Beavers aren't too far off. Dark Zero's gonna have a ways to go, a few teams to go through.
We get
as
to
well
see
as
the side-by-side
TSM
with
way
Geo
north.
already rotating with their Trident 2.
Xset not in a bad spot.
Onto the flyer. That evil shield if you can.
I also like how they've got the sort of budget Gibby shield there.
Oh, right? Yeah, it's a windshield. It's
yeah.
a windshield. Let's see who's going to be roadkill for Geo. And Dark Zero on the other side as well, already rotating with their own Trident. You mentioned it perfectly. Looking at where this next circle is going to be, which Dark Zero already has the information for. they could utilize that Trident to not only get there faster, but to use it as some makeshift cover, like you mentioned, in case it does go out into the open. Sometimes these early rotates could be very detrimental.
This kind of a circle, by the way, if it does go all the way into that open water, could be fantastic for Newcastle teams. So just to, as a quick reminder of who's playing Newcastle here on Stormpoint, we've got Ascend, we've got FC Destroy, Gambare Otosan, and we also have, no, actually that's it. So we've got, what, 3 teams there on the Newcastle, I believe. So those guys are going to be able to set up that cover. It's not quite permanent, but it will put them in good stead.
Definitely something that Ascend needs here if it works into their team composition. Currently sitting in last place as we take a look at Dark Zero, take it to the skies. They are getting shot at from the back because it really highlights how many teams have made their way into the south side of Shipfall.
Now, something that Dia was saying on the desk is very important here, right? Teams at this level know the rotations of the other teams. They should be essentially counting how many teams come in. Okay, 16 coming in. It should be Dark Zero. We know, you know, what spots they like to play. We know how long it's going to take them to make this sort of a rotation. And if teams are that switched on and they identify that correctly, they should be putting a little more stock in aggression towards TSM and towards Dark Zero, because otherwise we're going to be ending here in Game 4, Vicky.
Oh, we got to see how this plays out. It's aside from the rotations too, it's also the team comps. Even though we've been seeing this comp that Dark Zero is running pretty frequently.
Alliance
so
in a
many
fight.
other
Oh
squads
no, they're
taking
not. They're
the time
fighting
to rotate.
Prowlers.
Ooh, a nice little gold light mag here for Alliance to work with. But while they do defeat the Prowlers, they're going to be able to boost up their Evo shield. This is a team that is going to be taking some time to rotate into that next circle as they do land in Lightning Rod, going right through Thunder Watch, looking on the other side, Fnatic also. That's why you're seeing so many teams with the Trident.
Doesn't bother them at all, though, does it? I mean, Alliance, that's why they land Lightning Rod. They like to play Edge. They want to craft up and play that PvE game first, because as we saw, the smart loot from the Prowlers is fantastic for getting them well stocked and ready when they do finally run into other teams. Blackhand might be in the way of Alliance. We'll have to see how they play this one out over at Launchpad, considering they had such a rough start with those contests over at Landslide.
Optic Gaming rotating through the mill, and guess who's nearby? It's going to be Gambare Otosan, who are going to be on the other side of mill, with a circle closing in here too. You can imagine the squads that would like to play on the edge of this side of the circle. Riddle Order, Fire Beavers, and Cenote Caves. Looks like the fight has already gotten started. Optic Gaming dropped, already rotating from the inside of the building.
Bang ult's going down. Are they trying to get out quickly? Oh, they better boost away! They're actually going to reverse! A nice little handbrake spin there with the mobile shield to get away. Someone's been watching Fast and the Furious.
No, they said skr, and they immediately rotated away from there. And it was a fight for the ring console too, by the way. That highlights Geo and Optic Gaming realizing the utility of Mevo and what was provided to them there in that rotation.
I just love that. You know, we always say how great the movement mechanics are for APAC North, right? And we've seen a lot of shoddy Trident drivers, even at the pro level. Damn, dude, these guys got to learn something from the APAC North, man. Flips the 180, instantly puts the mobile shield down. Those guys know how to make a getaway.
That was disgusting. And even being able to get away with so much noise being made in the mill area, you can imagine that Riddle Order probably looking to get involved in the mill as well as trying to get the ring console. Now taking a look at Exen. Over to the north side, exiting out of Antenna. So many of these teams, TSM, Blackhand, Ascend, rotating out of these POIs. Exen, who are holding that choke point, could find themselves in a sandwich situation here. They have some natural cover right next to the gravity cannon. You can already see the charge rifle shot from the distance. Ascend coming in from the skyward dive. Going to be able to also get the passive scan from the Valkyrie. Finding themselves a nice building which works into this team composition with the Watson and Newcastle.
Not too bad at all. If they can find a couple of safe spots to put the Jenny down. That said, I think the ring will continue to pull further south, so Ascend, noting that, will continue on their merry way.
Pulverex, not far.
See Pulverex lying in wait, and then there's some teams all the way out in the zone here. And
Fire Beavers.
That's going to be Geo on the other side of Fire Beavers there. And Riddle Order, they've heard some shots as well, and they're looking.
Geo, by the way, have gone back around, probably to still not give up the information of the ring console since they have the Trident. What's important there was that that's what we saw the priority from the very beginning. Once we started this game, was the priority on the Trident, so that way they could be able to get that information, even if they don't want to engage in a fight. Fire Beavers playing outside the circle, like you mentioned, facing off against Riddle Order. The reason why neither Fire Beavers or Geo could get that Cenote Cave ring console if they haven't already is because Riddle Order has now made an appearance just in case they could push in for a third party.
Xset making some struggles so far in this tournament. It's been a little bit up and down. They show, you know, signs of life to get back into this final day, but now they're sitting in 11th, 17 points. They want to turn it around, but they're certainly well off some of these other squads.
Right
100
now.
Thieves taken down by LG, a team who I'd say has been performing very well so far.
They have, but also getting contested by Dark Zero and Pulverex to their north. This is what I meant by these early rotations sometimes being detrimental, and not just the good way, but in a bad way here in early rotation for circles like this. Dark Zero backing away just in case. LG right in front of them. They call in the exhibit, letting other squads know what might happen here. Zero, who's been having an amazing day thus far. He must have eaten his Wheaties or something. LG get taken out.
Okay, but they're locked down further down the hill now. Pulverex start taking some shots from on top of the ship. That will actually help Dark Zero quite a lot. Oh, okay, we've got Sheila locked in here. I hope Dark Zero have a plan for this. There's that broken ship I was talking about, right? That is genuinely where the circle could end, but it's so not playable until right at the end.
And the reason why that is because the lackluster cover that you're dealing with, unless you do have that Newcastle wall that you had mentioned, you know.
And even then, honestly, this early at this range, a Sheila would eat that wall up. So even for the Newcastle teams, you know, even for a Rampart team with the amped cover, it's not good enough just yet. You got to pick your time.
And your battles here too, when you work with this natural cover that currently Pulverex is working with as well.
The other thing that really impresses me about DZ there, right, is that they're on match point. They don't need to be getting extra kills and extra, you know, taking extra risks. But DZ, they know how to do this. Zero, obviously, is not the kind of guy who's just going to crumble under pressure. He's got 2 trophies at home and an MVP.
Just another day at work for Zero, who has already secured 12 kills throughout the day. Zainu with 11, Jen with 7. We've seen Jen clutch out so many times throughout the past couple of days. It's going to continue on here as we tune into TSM, rotating away here from Barometer.
Let us explore there.
Good shots there on the balloon. Okay. Not too bad from TSM. They have been playing a lot of edge so far, but when they do make their way into the circle, it can be pretty devastating. There you go. The ring continuing to just go directly south. I think that adds a lot of credence to what we're talking about here with an open-ended water zone to finish.
Looking at where a majority of the congestion is, Genome, Barometer where TSM is at, Optic Gaming, you can see Fnatic taking that north-southern angle here to see those squads that have to rotate out of Barometer. It's going to be very difficult, is it not, here when you have to rotate through that open water if you want to take a more western approach to the circle, but then you already have teams like NRG, Oxygen, Pioneers, who are already sitting down and holding into that circle as Optic Gaming have the L-Star in their hands, looking to take this fight in the middle against TSM maybe.
Skittles with a Nemi L-Star. Can get an opening so quickly with that gun. 25 a bullet is kind of scary to play with. TSM not scared of the zone though, in the same vicinity. Oh no, that's not good.
TSM though did recognize the third party coming in from Riddle Order. That's why they're backing away in time. But Optic Gaming still have the health advantage that they're chasing right behind them. Gets the crack.
And you saw they were so low on health. All of them are probably going to have to med kit right now. Meanwhile, Optic much better off and making the move up and getting good positions.
They got the further place ahead in terms of the rotation. Planning ahead, trying to cut them off. Drop though, and not get to follow up onto Hal. Verhos retaliates immediately to knock to overextended ever so slightly, but they can't let them reset.
No, they can't. But even if they just get one member, and let's say they can't get that back up, that would much diminish TSM's chances of finishing the game off here.
Optic Gaming pushing in on this and getting so aggressive also is an indicator that Optic already knew that this is TSM here. Black Hole getting called in. Archer at his feet. Verhos, where are you going to fly to? Over to the side. Nice cover. currently see on the other side, Skittlecake now taking a different angle to prevent Furhos from trying to reset. The L-Star, the Meatball Slinger.
TSM eliminated.
Back in here. TSM get eliminated from the lobby.
It's a big
Dark Zero,
moment.
the only one that can still
Dark
win.
Zero still in, and now they are the team who we will be looking forward to see if they can take away the fastest match point finals victory ever at a Play Apex LAN.
Can you imagine? I like Apex. I want to see some more Apex. No speed run here, but that would be absolutely insane and not surprising if it was Dark Zero. TSM, one of our squads in match point, not in the lobby anymore. One left here, allowing maybe more squads to get right there too. Black Hand in a fight. Easy Flash gets deleted. Chafing Flame with the Nemesis and the car in his hand, gets the crack immediately afterwards, gets pinged from afar. You see the immediate pings too, knowing that he's literally one, gets the knock to try to tie that out. It is Xset putting up the catwall.
Yeah, Pulverex also an issue here if these teams can't stick behind this cover well enough, but hopefully that catwall will allow Xset another life. You can see Pulverex is just getting sent upon now by Blackhand. They take over the fortifications that they've built up.
Moist being able to help clean that up in that fight too. From a distance, Xset resetting with the catwall in front of them. They see the exhibit over to their side, knowing that they're probably going to rotate off that little lip. Look who is still alive from Blackhand. Can he get the res is the question. It looks like he's going to go for it.
Yeah, I think they're out of earshot, honestly, so Xset probably won't hear that sound cue to let them know someone's rezzing, someone can come in here and maybe take advantage of that. Or maybe not. Here we go. Smoke behind, just so no one else can grief Xset too hard in this fight. It should be an easy 2v3 with Bugi down.
Especially with the Sear attack landing at this point. You're going to be slowed for a little bit. They're looking to finish it off. That one last member of Blackhand running away with Sykes right behind him. Blackhand get eliminated, and look who picked up that KP. Zero says, thank you very much. NRG looking like they're in trouble. Can Gil do it again? The gravity lift up, the black hole. Literally one playing right behind the Newcastle barrier. And it doesn't look like they can stay alive.
Eliminated.
GO are able to take Energy out.
Bridge is an important position for still another circle or two. Fnatic
Optic
try and take the gravity lift to avoid
fighting
that
against
bang
Fnatic.
damage,
Optic
but
eliminated.
Has already seen one too many battles here, and Yuka
Fnatic eliminated.
Join him in the grave.
Fnatic out of here. Dark Zero still playing off the low ground. Exit in their line of sights. Getting pinged from behind though. Having to be careful. There's another squad behind them. Let's jump into a listening with Dark Zero to see how they rotate from this.
They're in, guys. They're right here, right here. Okay, chill. We have chill, alright. I can hold. Is this team being crafting? 81 on one. I heavy. They have blues. Here. But. I'm right. Yeah, I'm good on me, guys. I'm good on me. You should probably play on me. I'm 0 bats. I'm 3-1. Hey, come to me. I just used it on the guy above me. They're dying. I'm peeking. You're all thing for you. Kill. In the block. Yeah. Dead. Nice. Another team. Another team. I'm going back in. I'm looting. Yeah, I'm looting. Go inside. Nice. Yep. There's a guy up here. Zero. There's a baton crafter. Okay. I need heals. Here, I can drop you 8. Right here. That's a whole team. 40 on 1. No bats. I'm up to it. We have to evac. I don't have we need to look at left. Look at left. Okay, I'm gonna Fini. On the car. Yeah, looking. He's getting naded. Besting. Nice. Watch your team on height too, guys. Oh, yeah, we have to evac. Yeah, back. We don't have a choice. The back is good. Yeah, we have to do it. There's someone right above us though, I think. There is someone above us. I'm gonna late. I'm gonna pick you up late. I got him. I'm with you. Chill. Come back. I'm going back. Mine squad. I need back. Just drop me back. I'm dropping you one. We need to go this side. You need to come this side. I got a few. Come. Go. Dropping it. I'm weak. Pop that bat and come. Yeah, I am. I'm batting. There should be someone else. It's fine. Yeah, we're running out with you. Okay, I'm coming. We can look up here and look left. I'm pretty sure that team might be a duo. I don't know if we evac. Okay. I'm just gonna make it. We have to run. I don't know if we can evac. I'm gonna try taking it. I'm hitting. Take done. I am. I'm taking. Just Floyd.
Maybe here.
Is this his zone? Land here. Oh my ping.
Landing.
I feel someone there, maybe. Doesn't matter.
It's fine.
Chill, in front of me. Chill. I'm here. Someone's on us. No, chill. Okay.
Chill right here.
I'm making.
Shoot a little bit. I'm gonna sky nade it.
Joe. We're good. They shouldn't push us. I'm playing Parles.
We need to play
cannon.
too.
Full team cannon.
Okay, we need to play a little left. We need to hold.
I can wall up.
No, chill.
Okay,
Just chill. Team here
Can
too, guys.
DZ do this?
Team cannon might push us.
70 of them.
Big on me. One's on me. I can't on. I'm getting scanned. My back.
They're getting shot in their back.
I'm breaking.
Straight down. Flooding.
I'm shooting
Run left.
They're trying to fight us.
Series 70.
Chill. I walled. Chill.
They're running back, guys.
Chill. Wait, okay on me.
They're running back.
Swing left.
Play right, guys. Play right.
Play right.
Zero, we have to play here.
6 squads left.
I'm gonna block that. Chill. I get two signs. On you.
Zero's already down. Jen's down. Zainu the only one left.
You can maybe reset, maybe a reset. Maybe a reset.
I'm gonna heal.
No, don't heal. Res maybe. They res. No.
Oh!
Push it. One guy. Nice shot.
Oh! Dark Zero eliminated.
Dark Zero gets deleted out of the lobby as
FaZe, only one left. Eliminated 2, 3 squads left. Alliance.
Keeping themselves on the board.
Oxygen.
It's going to be Alliance,
Pioneers.
Oxygen, eSports,
3 left.
and KCP, who are alive on the other side.
No one else looking like they can make it to match point by the next game, but certainly a couple looking to push up further. Oxygen sitting on 40 at the moment, might be the closest out of that. Actually, Alliance is just behind them on 39. Dark Zero, it was a solid rotation, but too many teams. I don't know if they'd worked out if it was DZ or not. There was a lot of sending going on there.
It was intense there too because FaZe was holding that back and the entire time. Catwalk coming in for Oxygen. Bane looking low before he could pop a medi. Oxygen now moving in. Let's see if he can pop the shield back. He's going to start it right now. The Archers are getting hurdled currently in Aiden's direction. The gravity lift.
Alliance are in the best position to take care of this. They are just waiting for this to
KCP
play
gets
out.
one with an
Pioneers
Arc
have some
Star.
high ground.
And
2.
the Archstars nasty with these nades have been on another level. Currently, KCP holding the high ground means the gravity lift is what this squad's going to do to try to contest.
Alliance, 2 members of Alliance down.
Lose that on Yuki in effect. This is looking
2 members of Oxygen were down.
From the high ground is apparently it's just too much of
Alliance eliminated.
Oxygen stayed
Pioneers
alive
the only
this
one
whole
left.
time. Wow, the rat play does work out to grab
Pioneers
but KCP
win map 4.
and Maskey takes center stage here in game 4.
Let him cook. He is hyped.
What a game, what a match as the Pioneers, look at them go.
Lifting his team up in the air as the pop-off comes in. KCP.
They are pumped to win map number 4 as that was an awesome match. I don't know who's left on match point. Let's check out that before. I think we're gonna hope to try to bring you map 5 here because I'm almost out of room on my skippableness. I usually try to keep a little bit of timing here to be able to skip some bullshit so that I can just bring you guys the matches as the final circle. Let's check that out.
1 point.
Oh.
Great way to highlight the start of World's Edge for our next game as we take a look. KCP from the Rock, Pride Rock, taking these shots to the Skull Piercer in 30-30.
Yeah, so this high ground they've got obviously a fantastic spot, especially when you've got the Skull Piercer and everything going on there. I thought Alliance was in a good position, but we hadn't seen that sort of high ground shot yet, and maybe they were just waiting for the gravity lift. It seemed like it could have been an easy third party, but unfortunately KCP had just done too much damage to Oxygen and then were able to turn back and focus their attention as soon as Alliance did lift up to try and contest it.
It was also so smart to hold that different off angle for Zane because he's the Horizon, so he could gravity lift himself right back to the rest of his team but he's holding this angle to contest the catwall so that way they can option select and cover that side of the rock so they don't get pinched in a situation like this.
Oh, and homeboy just got melted.
Insane with the hip fire shots. On the Prowler, we saw Nasky hit a disgusting arc star at the very beginning of this fight to deal with the pressure box from right behind, and it was just a cleanup here from Oxygen having to restabilize and then finishing off Alliance. KCP had all the time in the world to take the dub here in this fight.
Oxygen doing pretty well, by the way. I'm sure we'll get the scoreboard at some point, but I can tell you what, Oxygen after that second place are going to be...
Yeah, we'll give you guys the scoreboard. I think that'll be the end of this little video, because I'm hoping that we'll probably get 2 more matches, 5 and 6, maybe 7. We'll see how many people get onto match point after this match, and see how many people are close still, because that'll give us a little bit of a determination as to how many more matches we could have as the Pioneers. 21 points for that match. Oxygen 12, Alliance with 11, FaZe 12, Dark Zero with 13 big points for the team in the lead going into map number 5, which I'm going to take a little break as Dark. So we only got 2 teams, but we got 3 teams that are really close. Okay, as Dark Zero has 70 points, TSM with 52, Oxygen are both only 2 on match point, and then Oxygen and Pioneers both within 10, so both one good match away from both of those teams being on match point also, and then Alliance probably one good match if 11 points away, FaZe only 20, one really good game for FaZe away from being on match point for them. Optic Gaming lagging behind, as well as teams like NRG, Fnatic, 100 Thieves, also championship winning teams, lagging behind a little bit as the match number 4 is through and we go into match number 5. We're going to take a little break. We're going to bring you match number 5 and on the next video. Stick around for more Apex Legends Global Series action.